Hello and welcome back to the Beefy Tech channel. If I sound slightly off, that's because I'm on my girlfriend's rig, which is a 5800X3D with DDR4 3800 VDI RAM tuned to CL16-16-1632, plus full sub-timings, and you guessed it, a 4090. And the point of today's video is to see how this rig performs within the Modern Warfare 3 open beta multiplayer. Now, to be entirely honest with you, I have been indeed attempting to play this and show you roughly how it performs while in movement, but skill-based matchmaking on a rig that is not mine, so the sensitivity is all out of whack, is definitely hard to work with. So I'll give you guys what I can, and I'll just start the 1% lows and run around the map, and we'll see how the performance holds up in multiplayer. Now, to be entirely honest with you, I'm more interested in ground war, because that's what's more CPU-bound in this scenario, and it's where we can see more of a difference between, say, a 7800X3D and the 5800X3D. Now, as you may notice here, my sensitivity is so... What the hell is that? You can't shoot under the helicopter? Okay, I see how it is. Sure. Anyway, the sensitivity is very rough to work with because it's seemingly extremely low here, but it's fine. I'll rather work with extremely low than extremely high. But the FPS, quite surprisingly good. What you'll essentially notice is that we're above 300 FPS average, which I really like to see, and with the lows of about 220, this is pretty much where I'd expect a 5800X3D to sit at. Now yes, of course, a 7800X3D was maxing out the 4090 and the 5800X3D isn't, but 90% GPU usage is still perfectly reasonable, and honestly, for a 1.5-year-old CPU, I'm satisfied with that and I have no issues with it. But I'd like to go in a bit more detail on what exactly is done to this PC for it to perform the way that it does. We'll begin with the RAM. As you can see, you've got all of my timings up on screen. This RAM is VDI RAM running 3800 MHz CL16, with the rest of the timings at roughly 1.49 volts. Really good kit of RAM, works really well, but my girlfriend asked me to do an overclock for her that will never crash, so I didn't do CL14 or go absolutely maxed out on everything. I went with what I knew I could keep perfectly stable, and this is it. Not only that, but if we go up here, you may notice it says Curve Optimizer off. But this PC is lying to your face, because this has a -30 Curve Optimizer applied in BIOS, and for some reason it's not detected here, but it is applied. I quadruple checked, trust me. Meaning that it is performing pretty much at its quote-unquote safe max for a daily user. And not only that, my secret weapon, as I like to call it, is Revi OS, as indeed it is a fully debloated OS that just works extremely great, and it means we're squeezing out every single last bit of performance out of this 5800X3D. And funny story, we actually loaded into the brand new map that they added like a day ago or today, so I haven't even played this map on the 7800X3D, meaning I don't actually know how it performs, which definitely makes it a bit harder to compare, so let me quickly run this way. Golly, that guy's switching his weapons at a million miles an hour, dude. Skill-based matchmaking, let me tell you. As you can see, there's some really weird inconsistencies with the FPS here. So while looking here, the FPS is great, and then I go here, look this way, and the FPS dips. So it seems this map might be... Well, this part of the map might be a bit more CPU-bound. At the moment, we're down about 70 to 80 FPS on the 7800X3D, compared to what I was getting on the other maps. So it's a bit hard to tell if it's map differences or if it's CPU differences, but it might be a bit of both. I'll go with the assumption that the FPS difference is going to be 50 to 70 compared to a 7800X3D. But regardless, this is still extremely good performance. What you'll basically notice is that we're constantly above 200, which honestly, for a 1.5-year-old CPU yet again, is more than pleasurable. We're holding that 4090 around 65 to 70-ish% usage, and that's pretty much what I wanted to see from this. A 200 plus FPS experience. To be entirely fair, some parts of the map perform way better than others, and that's always an issue when you're CPU bound in games like this. You'll have huge FPS variances that can often make the game not feel particularly great. That's why it's better to be GPU bound usually, but yeah, this is a 5800X3D and a 4090. So the CPU-bound problem is always going to be there as long as the CPU is paired with this GPU. It's not going to go away. But I have to say, it's pretty much smooth except when I'm getting absolutely blasted by a fucking airstrike. But with that said, I'm satisfied. I think the 5800X3D, even a year and a half later, is still holding strong. And if you have this exact pair, you can run low settings all day and still get over 70% GPU usage, which in my opinion is more than satisfactory. But yeah, basically, if you want to get this type of performance on your 5800 X3D and 4090, all you have to do is download the options.3.cod23 file and put it within your config file. I've shown how to do this in the previous video. If you guys want to see how to do it, you can check that one out. Be on driver 53758 and then enforce resizable bar using Profile Inspector, which I've also shown in my previous video, so I'll leave the video linked down below. And one more thing, I do highly recommend you guys check out Revi OS because it is literally the way I'm able to max out the CPU's performance with complete ease. It saves me hours of time so I don't have to debloat myself, and honestly, it probably would be doing a much better job than me at debloating anyway. So now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna get off of my girlfriend's rig because she most likely wants to play on it instead of have me sit here and talk to myself. So hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Yeah, that 7900 XTX video is coming after this, so I switched up the order a little bit, but it's still coming, so no worries over there. Have a good one and enjoy.